Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Hal Bradley. I would like to ask us, each and every one of you, that if you enjoyed these shows, please hit like, share, and subscribe after you view the show. Thank you very much.
Well, hello again there, world, and welcome to the Crisis Victory Show. My name is Dr. Hal Bradley. I'm executive producer and host of the show. My co-host, Pete Turner, somewhere in the background. Pete, pop in and wave hi. Good to see you, brother. Good morning. And today I have a very special guest. When Pete was giving me her bio before the show had started a day or two ago and explaining her background and what she's involved with here, I feel this is such a crisis victory event show that really merits a deep listening, a deep understanding. And I'm just so proud of her for coming forth with this information today that we know will touch some of the families, not only here, but abroad. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Kathy Gagliardi. And Kathy, it's wonderful to meet you and see you on the air. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm real excited about this topic. It's an important topic and probably not as openly exposed as other topics are in relation to public awareness. And I think that this is a critical a topic today. And I'm very grateful that you're willing to take your time. And I'd like for you, if you could, to give a brief synopsis of your background, what led you into this industry. I'd like to talk about the book that you have that's published, and I'll get Pete to flash that contact up on screen for us. But the floor is yours, Kathy, please.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I've always written poems and things like that. But the thing that got me started, and I started with doing children's books, the thing that got me started on that was a friend of mine, her son had taken his life, and it just blew me away. I just didn't know how to handle that. And so I just started writing a children's book about how we can help children through their emotions that are really stuck, and teach them techniques on how to get through them. And so I've written 7 books on that, on different emotions. And I found that is the parents that need the support now. And the parents of neurodivergent children are just really in need of knowing that they're not alone. And so I created the Bellyflies method, and I was explaining it on podcasts to different people, and they said we need it in a book.
Yeah.
So I wrote the book about it, and then I proceed to use the book as a tool to do sessions with parents.
Okay, I'd like to cut in. What is neurodivergent syndrome? Can you explain it to the audience, please?
It includes a great deal. It includes autism, like the whole spectrum, ADHD, extreme anxiety, and just different ways that the brain works, and it's not accepted as normal. I don't know why, because we all are a little different, but that the neurodivergence includes all of that.
Can some of the signs and symptoms of neurodivergent be misinterpreted by people? That is to say, when they recognize a child emotionally angry or in some forms of dysfunctionality in their emotional content, and sometimes people will tend to think that it may be a sign for something altogether different than what you're addressing.
For sure. They say that if you've met one autistic child or person, you've only met one autistic child or person. Everybody's so different. So
Yes.
the signs for autism can be misdiagnosed. ADHD, we find that girls are misdiagnosed a lot until they get a little bit older, and can finally address what the problem is and treat it, not treat it to go away, but treat it to adapt to it.
Okay, that's a good answer to that. Yeah. I noticed you made a comment specifically directing to girls. Are boys different? And if so, can you explain to us the difference?
Boys have typically been diagnosed at a much earlier age, maybe 2 or 3.
Okay.
And I think maybe girls are starting to now, but before it was like they're just shy or quiet, or it's just how they are. and they weren't diagnosing them the same way.
Is it possibly hormonal development too? Is it in that age era bracket?
No, I don't. Well, I don't think so. I just think
Okay.
that they just see girls as different than boys. Boys maybe act out a bit more, and maybe they can. That's what I've been told, that maybe they can notice it right away, like when they're 2.
Okay. Okay. So tell us about the book. When did the book get published, and what are the specifics of the chapters in the book?
It's actually going to be launched November 4th.
Oh, good. Great.
So the Bellyflies method, the Bellyflies is an acronym, and so every letter means something. So B is for believe, so that people can have this acronym on their fridge or something and just take a look at it and, use these techniques to calm down and like believe in yourself and believe that you're doing the best you can do and believe in your child. That's who they are. And accept your child and help them to accept themselves for who they are. This is also a big challenge for them. And should I go through each letter?
I would love it. I would absolutely love it. Thank you.
E is for engage emotions. So I encourage them to identify the emotions and show the child what the emotion actually looks like on them, and understand that it's okay. Like, all the emotions are okay to feel. It's just how you react to the emotions that we have to make it clear what your needs are when you react. And Bellyflies, my first book was Bellyflies, and that means butterflies in your belly. So when
I like
children,
that.
thank you.
I like that. Yeah.
Children have said to their parents, like, I have belly flies. I don't know what's wrong. When you say to a child, what's going on with you? They say, I don't know, or I'm fine. Well, now they can say, I have belly flies. And you can ask them, well, what does it feel like? Where do you feel it? In your heart, in your tummy, in your head? What color would they be? And so you can own it and then release it, or help to release it.
Oh. I got to tell you, Kathy, I have a nephew who's autistic, and I absolutely adore that young man. He is extremely brilliant. He is absolutely an amazing human being, and he loves his Uncle Hal so much. It's just absolutely cool. But what I do with him is I tend to avoid a direct eye contact when I see him starting to get a little bit nervous. I know that my nephew sometimes doesn't like to be hugged. And what we need to do is instruct and train people, parents, and visiting guests and friends, that these are very natural symptoms that we deal with when we're in the presence of somebody that has extreme autism. And another thing is to recognize the brilliance. My God, autistic children, they're like geniuses. And I've known more, but this is my nephew I'm talking about right now in relation to your book. And by the way, dear, you've got to send me a copy of that. I would love to share that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, put that down.
Yeah, I'm writing it down.
Yeah. I'm an author of 12 books. I have a lot of books out there, and I really get the impact that and how important it is to put it in a form where someone can put it in their hand, Kathy. And when they're dealing with, say, an aggressive moment with regard to their child or friend or whoever it may be that is autistically inclined, it's important for someone to be able to have a reference source. So I love the fact that you have done this with this book. It's an amazing tool to have that. And I'm very
simple. Yeah.
Yeah. It's simple to you because you have walked the walk and you have created it based on your having the interest, if you will, to put together something that will not only benefit the autistic person or another similar dysfunctionality, not necessarily just autism.
Right.
But that's absolutely contributory. And my doctorate is in pastoral counseling. I work with rape victims, addicted and abused people. I have been, I received my doctorate in 2004, and I've practiced every day of my life in that doctorate. My chaplaincy in hospice came through in 2018, but this is my 26th year of being a hospice counselor. So I'm very used to dealing with people that are in a heightened anxiety time of their life and dealing with issues that they haven't self-prepared themselves further and foremost. It isn't the person that's passing away that we worry about. It's the grieving ones that are left behind that we
Right.
really need to focus on. And the those that are in the final stages, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, the founder of Hospice in America, gave us the 5 stages of death and dying. And a lot of these stages are relative to dealing with scenarios such as you were talking about now, being descriptively anger, denial, those kind of
Yeah.
symptoms that go with the dying process. Also go with parents and associates that are dealing with dysfunctionality in someone that they love and care for very much. So
Yeah.
you said this book is going to release in November, correct?
Yes. Yeah. I got to say, you're an angel. You're
Oh,
truly an angel.
well, thank you for
Somebody
that.
who
But you
has
know,
that.
I love every human being on the planet. I wasn't always an angel. Many, many years ago, decades ago, Kathy, I was a high level ranking person in the Sinaloa drug cartel. I spent 15 years of my life in a very, very horrible and evil existence. So I do have some hands on familiarity with that which is bad and that which is good. And I'd also like to say, since I made that statement, that I left that world 32 years ago and was actually recruited by the Department of Justice and spent 17 years undercover at the same time that I was completing seminary, being installed as a pastor of my own church, and I would be preparing sermons and get a phone call and saying, pack a bag, you're on your way to Central America tomorrow morning, kind of stuff.
Oh my
So,
God.
so yeah, so I really, I've had a, God has just blessed me with such an amazing life. And at the time that I was living in such an evil existence, I had no idea that later it would benefit the kingdom of God through Christ. Because when I was converted, I was like the Apostle Paul when he was Saul on the road to Damascus, and he got struck down and scales were put upon his eyes, and he was taken to the house of Ananias. And Ananias was in fear because Saul was rounding up Christians to serve to the lions. And yet he stayed faithful to God. The scales were lifted. And in that moment of convergence, Saul became the Apostle Paul. Well, my story is no different. October of 1994, 3:30 in the afternoon, October 19th specifically, I fell to my knees in a cell as I'm heading to prison for 8 years and just told God I couldn't do it no more. And if you could just come upon me. And in that moment, 2 other inmates came into my holding cell, dropped down on their knees on each side of me, put a hand on me, and we prayed that right out of my body. And now, 32 years later, I still smile every day. And I became so hungry to find the cure, not only for myself, but to benefit all the people and to show people
Right.
like you and Pete and so many others how truly sorry I am for the life that I had lived for so long. And I don't feel saying I'm sorry is enough. I feel we have to do it by example. And what you're doing is an example to people to be able to have a foundation to maybe start building and constructing and understanding, if you will, the specifics of the needs of others. And
Oh,
that I
yes.
love you for, Kathy. You are an angel. So sorry that took so long for me to say all that,
No.
but I believe in getting the truth out, and I felt that you should know who you were talking to today.
Yes,
And
for sure.
you, my books are online. You can see right there underneath us, so that's scrolling by. Uh, and I strongly
Yeah.
recommend Amazon for you also when you get it published. It's very,
Yeah, for
very,
sure. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
they'll get you out there.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I feel really, I think it's very important to understand other people, like to listen to their stories, and because it makes them who they are, and
yes,
it gives them the good to pass on to others that we don't know about, right?
I agree with that. Absolutely. That's what was the foundation of creating the Crisis Victory Show in the first place, was to show people that are victimized or going through addiction or going through dealing with some hardship of their life, that there are people like us, like myself, who were able to convert, but we had to find something greater and stronger to believe in than ourselves. And we had to find an out. And sometimes finding that out can be very costly. I've been captured. I've been tortured. I've been left for dead in my own backyard out here when a contract killer took me out and left, leaving me dead. I have gone through many, many things to say I'm sorry. But Jesus Christ said, be the example. And he was so right. Don't just say words. Go out there and be an example. And
Right.
people like you are so enticing to bring on this show, because you, my dear, that big smile on your face right now, you are the example of doing good with the knowledge that you've been blessed with. So getting back to the book,
Yeah.
how many chapters are in there, and what are the specifics of the chapters?
So there's one for every letter. So 10 chapters, and
Okay.
they're believe, engage emotions, listen, love. Y is for yoga. F is for focus. So focus on calm until settled. So it's an acronym as well. And I find that, parents tend to sit behind their child, hold them,
Yes.
and focus on a picture or focus on something that the child feels calming, and it just calms them down and calms the parents down too.
That makes
And
sense
then,
to me.
yeah,
Yeah, it
I
does.
really feel the hugging when they accept it, that it's important. But
Yes.
on the other hand, we must know them and be in their world and know when they can accept it and when they can't.
Yeah, we must be
Challenge
focused.
them. Yes. Yeah. L is for lead by example, and I is for imagination. I think that nowadays children aren't shown imagination, taught imagination as much as that we used to. E is
Yes.
for encourage. Um, that's huge, right? E is for encouraging your own self, saying, "I can do this. This is my path. I can do this," and of course, the child. And S is for sensitivity. So we
Oh,
have
I
to be
like that.
sensitive to their challenges. We have to be sensitive that they are unique people,
Yes.
and they can be sensitive to different things, sound, light, people, all the different things. And key to all of this is to be in their world, to see how they see things,
Yes.
and to understand that it doesn't really matter if they're not doing this something the same way as everyone else thinks is right.
Yes.
I
Yes.
use the example, like if you want to have a hamburger with lettuce on it instead of a bun, or inside out or whatever, what difference does it make?
Exactly.
But we tend to try to put them in. So my message would be to not try to change them, but encourage them and be in their world, and encourage them to have a voice. And I think it's really important that if a child is acting out in temper tantrum or screaming or something, you can say, I know, okay, something's wrong, but it's hard for me to understand you when you're being so loud. Thank you for letting me know something's wrong, but I need you to tell me what's wrong or show me what's wrong. And that will, it will emphasize what they're doing right, which is speaking out for their needs, and
Yes.
not emphasize what they're doing wrong. So if you just keep encouraging that way of communication, then the child will have their voice.
Yeah, and the thing about encouragement, I love that E in your thing and the way you're using that particular word. Parents or friends or family that are dealing with somebody of an autistic nature or some similarity to that, they try to encourage, but sometimes they get frustrated and not seeing the responses. What is your answer to that?
I say it's all trial and error, and what works today may not work tomorrow. But
Yes.
you have to just be patient with yourself and be patient with them, because they're learning too. They're struggling, and they're having all these feelings, and not knowing how to work with them. But if you constantly have visuals, like a chart that says, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm worried, I'm scared, and they can point to it and identify that that's what I am. That's why I'm feeling like this, because that's what I am. And then you can talk about it, and it brings conversation, or it brings emotion, like L is for love. It brings the connection to you, because now you're sharing that feeling. I know exactly how you feel, and it will help them to settle. And usually, sometimes, I mean,
Well,
the whole thing is that we're not alone. You're not alone in doing this.
Well, I think that also, Kathy, sometimes in that moment of anxiety, dealing with someone who is different than we are, that we need to learn to step back. We need to go ahead and give that moment to diffuse the escalation of the aggressive nature and action in that moment. It's not always
Yes,
going to be there, but in that moment.
right.
Do you agree with that?
Oh yes, I totally agree with that. Give them their time, and let them let them see, like let them see that, okay, I did this, and there's no solution yet, or I'm in a heightened, um, agitated time right now, and if I just let it go a bit, then maybe it will calm down. I
That makes
found
sense. That
with
makes
my
sense to me.
son, one time I picked up my son from daycare, and he had a total meltdown, and I had to basically drag him out of the car because he was screaming and kicking, and I brought him into the house and laid him on the floor and just hugged him. Now he's not autistic, and he allowed me to hug him, but at that moment I could feel everything melting out of him.
And in
And
some cases, it's exactly the opposite, the
it's
touching.
exactly the
So
opposite.
you
Yeah,
have to take it on a
yeah,
case by case basis.
yeah, minute by minute. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
um, but if you have these little techniques posted, maybe it just will help. If this didn't work, maybe this works. Like
Yeah.
redirection helps a lot of time, but not all the time. Like um, you just have to believe in yourself and believe that you're doing the best you can, and you are doing the best you can, and they are doing the best they can too. So
Well,
we
and
just have to.
also, I can relate to a circumstance right now that I'll share with the audience regarding what we're talking about. Going to a restaurant with my nephew, and he'll go in the bathroom and he'll stay in there for like 2 or 3 hours sometimes. And the
Uh,
restaurant is closing and they need him to remove himself. And we find that he himself has to be the one. And we think that the reason it's always a bathroom or a restroom is something happened to him when he was in outer care in a bathroom or a restroom. So what we need to do is identify to certain trigger signs or trigger elements. And I can remember going into the bathroom and telling nephew, "Well, son, we're getting ready to leave," and checking on him, and he would become very, very angry, and then he would become withdrawn within himself, and he would literally go into a cell and close the door
oh,
in a toilet. Yeah, and you have to diffuse it, and then people that work in the restaurant want to go in there and have an impact on trying to remove him because they're closing, and we have to let them know, no, this has to work its way through its own resolution. So this is the encouragement thing you brought up into me is so important, because it's okay to make a comment in the moment, but we need to back away and let them make the next move,
right,
even if it's inconvenient, but we need to
right.
do that. And do you talk about that in your book? Do
Yes,
you?
yeah, for sure. And
Okay.
and another thing is um, educating the caregivers or other people that are coming to the house. Like they should be. We're not educated on how to accept everybody. We're
Yeah.
educated on this is how everything is done. So they must know that if they don't show love, it's not that they don't love you. They maybe overly love you. They just can't express it. So you don't have to force yourself on them. They just
And
feel
you have to
differently.
read the tea leaves because it is
Yes,
different in every single scenario.
yeah, and
That's
that's why I wrote this book, because I feel so strongly that the parents of neurodivergent children just don't have the support, and I'm hoping that this will give them a little bit of sanity, a little bit of encouragement, and um, know that they're not alone.
Well, my sister-in-law, who's the mother to the nephew that I bring up to you, she is absolutely amazing with her son. She is very dialed in. She has done counseling in this industry before, so she knows how to approach and deal with these exact and precise moments that he goes through. But what I like about the way she approaches it is if someone's waiting or being excuse me, someone's being held up or something as a result of his momentary pause in what he's going through, she's also explanative to the people that may be dealing with a lack of understanding, if you will, on
Right.
the situation. And that's important, Kathy,
Yeah.
because that child or that adult or that individual that's of autistic nature, they're observing everything. They hear everything. They see
They
everything.
do.
Yeah. And we need to always be respectful to that with regard to the way we, as neophytes in a lack of understanding of something like that, need to approach
Right.
that moment's situation.
And everybody's going through something. Everybody has something in their life or in their body, or, everybody has something. And so when somebody overreacts, they don't know. It's not that they're
Yeah.
bad people, but they also don't know. They've never been taught. I mean, I think we should be taught in school.
Yeah, we're all different. I
Yeah,
agree.
we're all different. You don't have to sit a certain way in your chair because you're a different person. Like I'm just doing an example, but if we're taught in school that everybody's different, then maybe this acceptance would be much, much easier for kids as they grow up to be adults.
I love that. I absolutely love that. How simple is that?
Simple, yes.
And how complicated people and society in general creates that scenario. What we don't understand tends to make people have fear of it.
Oh, yes.
They shy away from it. And
Yeah.
instead, what you just said made really good sense. Approach it. You can become knowledgeable about it, and then discern upon your own self on a case-by-case basis how to approach it, how to deal with it, and how to benefit from it. Because when we benefit in the instruction to another person, we're able to pass along that shared momentary experience we just had. And it's elemental. It grows and expands our ability to counsel better, our ability to have an understanding of something that may pop up all of a sudden, and how do we respond?
Right.
But and I got to tell you, Kathy, I am really dying to see this book. I really am.
Good. I'm so excited. I'm so
you should
excited
be.
for this. I just would like people to have that extra little technique or a safe place to go, to find an answer that may be perfect for that moment. I love watching parents of neurodivergent children, how they become in the world of their child. I love seeing that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, inclusion is critical, but the understanding when they don't want you included, you have to understand that and not take offense to it. Correct?
No, that's right. Like, they're having their own feelings, and all their feelings are important and they're not bad, but we have to teach them that too. And I wish they would have taught in school that if you're angry, it's not a bad thing. And if you're feeling overwhelmed and that everyone's looking at you, it's not a bad thing to feel that way because that's how you feel. Let's just try to deal with it.
In so many ways, it's a gift, not a curse.
Right.
When you're different, you can take that and you can do something with that difference. It's like my explaining to you about my years in the drug cartels and the horrific life that I lived. But I was able to take that knowledge and experience now as a man of God for over 3 decades. This isn't an overnight transition with a guy like me. This was a serious convergence. And now I take those memories and those experiences. When people come to me with extreme tragic circumstances, they're either just going through, have just recently survived, and they feel very comfortable in the communication because they know that I've been there, I've done that, I've been through that hellacious path of life. And I see the same concept, of what you're giving to the world right now in your publication, that sometimes we need to do a transitory post with our life and our understanding. I got this dang fly flying around here. But anyway, that's why you keep seeing me do it. But we have to take an understanding of some of what we have gone through in life and learn how to manifest that into a goodness that we can recreate in our conversations and our observations, if you will, of things that we didn't understand before we had survived that which we survived and went through. These are crisis events. That's what the show is about, surviving crisis events and taking that knowledge and paying it forward, Kathy. Right. And I think that, how old is your son, if you don't mind me asking?
I have a 35-year-old son and a 33-year-old son.
Okay, so they're adult.
Yeah.
They're adult. Okay. And are only one of them different, or are they both challenged?
One of them mostly, the other one maybe a little bit, but
Okay.
not,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
not overly, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it just goes to show you've had decades, literally decades of preparing for putting this into authorship. And you're talking from real experience, life
Yeah, and
experience.
the more I looked into it,
Yeah.
I didn't think I would be going back to school before I wrote this book, but man, I just researched and researched, and the more I looked into it, the more I wanted to look into it and
Yes.
research every single thing about it, and it just I was like feeding on it that
Right.
this is it, this is it, this is the one thing that I can do that maybe change a little bit of the world.
It's a beautiful thing to do, sister. I understand about that. When I found Jesus, I had such a desire to learn that for the next 15, 16, 17 years, whatever, of my life at that time. I mean, I completed a doctorate in 12 years. I mean, I was so involved and engrossed in learning. Why do I feel this way? Well, that same rule applies with what you're doing. Why do people feel this way? And they need an answer. And that's what prompted you to continue on your journey of gaining and acquiring and obtaining more knowledge that you could pay it forward to the world, which is a wonderful, beautiful thing. Beautiful.
Thank you. I just
Well,
I spoke to so many people that are waiting for the book.
well, it's an important book to have, and not only as a reference source for people like myself that are professional counselors, but for people that are neophytes and don't have an understanding, but don't know where to go for a resource. So I
Right.
think it's critical to have a book like that out in population. Now we're getting ready to close the show. So before we do, I want to know if you would like to leave us a lasting message that we can really imprint today on the people that were blessed to hear your message that you shared with us.
I I I feel that it's we're all so different, and I think that our children don't need to change, but be understood. I mean, be understood on who they are and why they are like this, and what they're doing is okay. Um,
I like that.
but we're still guiding them. We're still going to guide them and do as much as we can for them. But yeah, but I think we're so right now. People are so trying to change, so everybody fits into a little spot. But no, I don't think that's important. I think it's more understanding
To adapt.
and adapt.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. Well, listen, Kathy, I want to thank you for your time today. And I'm just so delighted to have had you to share this important message to my audience. And I want to say that I ask God to bless you, to keep you on this path and journey, this wonderful, beautiful thing that you have found that you can present to the world. And I just want to encourage you to continue on with that. And I really, truly thank you for this day and sharing your message.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much for having me. It was nice meeting
Uh,
you.
you too. I really enjoyed this. Okay, well, God bless you, honey, and you have a great day. Okay. Okay, folks. Well, that wraps up another episode today, and I'd like to take this moment to thank each and every one of you for taking your time to catch our show. Now, if you like these shows, I would ask that you would please hit like, share, and subscribe. It's so important to us that we get these messages out, and we understand that these are graphic, almost toxic interviews. But this is the kind of impact that we feel is needed in order to make sure that people understand the significance of the problems that we are confronted within our own country and around the globe. So I'm going to say at this time that I love you all. God bless you all. Hasta luego, y vaya con Dios, and go Victors.